Hello, I'm back. So, um, I am going to read another section of Who is My Child, written by me, Jilliann Beck-Bryant. The subtitle is Finding the Best Way to Teach Your Children Based on Each Individuality Type. So, basically, it's a personality test, and my cat's about to get in the middle of this video again. It's curriculums, some info about different preschool curriculums in the U.S. And a lot of them are global. A little bit about my own curriculum, based on the learning style, where your child should be placed, or what you should do, if you should homeschool, if you should look into my curriculum, and then also exposing some truths. I've been behind the scenes for almost 20 years now, so I think there's some things that parents have the right to know. Also, some theories about certain disorders and the government, and anyway, even astrology. There's a little bit of astrology in this book. I actually believe in faith-based centers above all, ironically, but I won't go off on into my tangent, but I do believe that you can believe that astrology is accurate and still be a Christian. So there is my claim. Prove me wrong. Anyway, okay, so we went through all the different types, learning types. And so now we dig into astrology a little bit. If you don't know what astrology is, look it up. Everybody should know in this generation what it is by now. The 60s and 70s are coming back. Basically, in my theory, it's God's blueprint. So he created the stars, and we were all born with a certain personality and skill set and path. And it kind of can give us some clues and answers and guidance, but we're not supposed to use it to manipulate or get what we want, if that makes sense. So it does not have to be an evil thing. And you can say it's quacky if you want, but it is, in my experience, very accurate. My mom was an astrologer, and I've learned from her. It's like my second language. And I can prove to you, if you get your whole chart done, how crazy accurate it can be. So anyway, a little bit. Chapter 8 is the astrological signs within the 4 elements. So each type of child personality, learning style, is an element. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have like a fire. If you have a fire child, it doesn't mean you necessarily have an Aries or a Leo or whatever. But this breaks down the astrological signs so that you can kind of see the qualities of that element. And if you get your child's chart, that's really the best way to go, in my opinion. If and when I start a school, I might do charts with parents, so that, in parent-teacher conferences, so that we can better get to know the child. And maybe they're a fire child, but they have a lot of water in their chart, and so they're more emotional than the typical fire child. Anyway, so chapter 8, here we go. You can find the book on Kindle, Amazon, and barnesandnoble.com if this isn't enough and you want more. Before I begin, I feel it's important to address my concern with schools over-diagnosing or misdiagnosing children with disorders such as ADHD, when many of them I've personally observed are naturally hyperactive types like Aries or Gemini. Scorpios, Aquarians, and Libras, whatever, are often too smart for required curriculum and get bored with school. Not to say other signs, i.e. Virgo and Capricorn, aren't too intelligent. They are just more obedient in nature, so they get through the system usually just fine. That being said, I think it is important to describe as best as we can your child's astrology element, and even possibly dive deeper into the sign within the element. Take it with a grain of salt if you must, talking to you skeptics out there, but hear us out because you might find it to be creepily accurate. So the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The fire child is often either an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. If not, your child may have some fire signs prominent in his or her chart that gives him or her a more fiery personality. I'm sure everyone knows what a fire personality is. That is just the element we are talking about here. This child is an energetic type and goes to the beat of his or her own drum. Give this child confidence by boosting ego. Cat, get out of the camera. Where was I? Boosting ego, giving leadership responsibilities, and you will find life to be much easier. Fire children need lots of attention and opportunities to perform, act out their high energy levels. They cannot be trapped inside a classroom all day or forced to conform to everyday life. You must mix it up a little. Keep it fun and interesting. Keep them on their feet. These children are at highest risk of aggressive behavior in the classroom or home environment. The Earth child is often a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. This sweet, perfect little angel child of yours needs little direction. Count your blessings and feel lucky. They do well in just about any environment except for chaotic ones. They tend to dive into their work with persistent concentration so much that it is hard for them to transition sometimes out of it. Think OCD. 5-minute warnings are important for smoother days. They can be loners, but once attached, extremely loyal. They move a little slowly, so be patient with them. They can be possessive of their toys and not want to share. The air child is commonly a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This intelligent mind needs constant stimulation and challenging questions. Usually very inquisitive and skeptical, you will have to be detailed in your responses and curriculum. This child is also prone to ADD because of their boredom on simple subjects. They easily lose concentration. Put this child in front of a computer and you're golden. They can concentrate for hours. These children have scientific abilities naturally and can figure out just about any assignment. Just keep him or her engaged. In other chapters, I go off on electronics. Too much electronics for children I'm not a fan of, but this child, you're lucky, will thrive in the new technology era of schools. So you won't have too much of a problem. I actually forgot to mention, I'm going to have to do a new extended version because as I read these, I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention that and that and that. The air child, in my observation and experience, sometimes they are slightly on the autistic spectrum. So, like I kind of mentioned before. So don't be alarmed. If they want to sit on the computer and they want to do a bunch of brainy stuff and they don't want to play with their friends, that's normal for them. So just love and accept your child the way they are. That's my biggest goal here is like, how can we accept their differences and not try to fit them in this bubble and this, like each child is a different puzzle piece, right? And fits together perfectly. So the water child is extremely sensitive. You must be kind and gentle with your direction. I'm a water child, and so is one of my children. So trust me on this one especially. I find it especially important here to note simply stereotyping your child by just his or her sun sign according to a natal chart is a mistake. Every horoscope or birth chart is like a snowflake, which I've said before. Neither is exactly like the other, not even twins. Whether you're an Aries or Pisces, would you want to be labeled with all other Aries or Pisces in the world? Would you want to be limited or judged? No, of course not. So make sure you either study the scientific art of astrology to know how to read natal wheels or go to an astrologer for a small but valuable cost to figure out your child's unique planetary alignments and placements according, to their exact birth information. It is calculated by the very minute an infant takes his or her first breath. So, yeah, I can go more in depth, especially if you get the book. We can, we could do your kid's chart. We can, or at least go into their sun sign and element a little bit more. Yeah, that's one of the perks of getting the book is that you get access to some of my knowledge and we can chat. And yeah, I'm really grateful for my customers. So till then, see you later.